I'm reasonably certain that this mashed, mangled, mutilated box that I got from Amazon contains my Pong tabletop arcade machine. If it does, and if it still works, I'll take a look at it and review it for you right now.
Don't you know that you're a grown up? No games, no puns. Not allowed if you're a grown up.
Hey there, welcome back to GenXGrownUp. I'm John. I am a GenXGrownUp. Thank you for checking out this video and the rest of the channel. I'm always on the lookout for cool arcade-oriented collectibles and ways to relive and play Gen X-era games. So when I saw they were putting out a Pong-themed arcade machine, I was definitely down for it. It was only being released in the UK, and in fact I ordered it from Amazon UK. But I ordered it all the way back in May of this year, so 6 or 7 months ago. It kept getting delayed, Well, I finally got a package in the mail, and it is from the UK, and it's about the right size, and it's about the right time based on shipping, so I think that's what's in it, but I'm a little disturbed by kind of what it looks like. So, trusting that's what it is, let's see if it's okay, and if it is in fact what we think it is. Based on the label and the customs information and all that, I'm pretty sure that we're in for a treat with a Pong item here, but buried somewhere in here. Aha! There he is. Yeah, so here he is. A little Pong tabletop arcade machine. It's actually like Atari 2600 stuff in it, and it looks really neat. It's different than a lot of the other ones that I've seen. It's not by any of the major manufacturers that I've typically seen, like a Basic Fun or a My Arcade. But I mean, it's Pong, it's two-player, it's got paddles, it's Atari. Everything about it said, John, you need one and you need to review it. So step one, I got one. Step two, let's go review it. Before we do, if this is your first time watching GenXGrownUp, look for that little bar that lifts. Click that subscribe button in the corner, maybe even enable notifications with that little bell. That'll make it easy for you to find and watch way more Gen X inspired videos just like this one. All right, Pong, here we come. All the way across the Atlantic, and here it is. Yeah, it's a little dinged up, a little worse for wear, but considering the box was super mangled, I'm gonna call it a win. I'm a little encouraged by the fact that this is an 01, suggesting there's more coming. That could be promising. And the looks of it are just, that's kind of struck me that, hey, it looks like a classic Pong machine. It's that yellow and black with the brown accent. And these are all paddle games, because it's just paddles and a button, and it has 12 titles. So yeah, let's crack into it. Actually not a bad little user's guide that kind of outlines the games that are in it and how to play them and how the machine works. Yeah, but we don't need those. We know how games work. All right, let's jump into this beauty. First of all, wow, look at the wood grain. Beautiful. That's really nice. And plus, I mean, the black and white very much looks like an original Pong machine. I would say Pong up here, and there's just that kind of hole where the monitor was tucked away, and paddle controllers here. They're a little bit clicky, which is kind of nice. They're not super smooth like you'd expect from old Atari style, but they feel good. Not like a spinner, it's definitely a paddle. There are little ticks in it. So on the back we have a headphone jack, we have a volume up and down button. Looks like we can power it with micro USB if we want. Let me start by saying, just at the outset, everything about the design of this I love. It not only is it designed for a tabletop play, but for two players. The way that it's kind of angled back so you can sit on a table, you can both see it, you can both play the game. I think that is a really cool and novel design. Does it look like an arcade machine? No, it doesn't, but it's inspired by, like the color scheme and the layout is inspired by one, but it actually leverages what you need to actually play two players in a new kind of design that's kind of inspired by that. And I like that. I like that a lot. It's a different kind of machine. So let's give it a try. Power on. Hey, Atari. All right, this is very, very similar, almost identical software to what we looked at in that handheld Atari 2600 unit. You might remember that. I'll put a link to that up in the corner if you want to take a look at that. But same manufacturer, Blaze is the company that does it, same one that did that one from the UK. So it doesn't surprise me that the menu is the same. It looks like navigation is done with the left paddle. And select changes pages. The right paddle doesn't do much of anything, except just let the second player play. All right, well, let's get started. Let's go right into Pong. I mean, there's no such thing as arcade Pong. There's no ROM for that, as you probably know. That's probably a whole other story. One or two player. Looks like I use the controller. All right, so I'm going to start, and I'm cooking. Very exciting, this Pong game. A little getting used to with the clickiness of the paddle, but that's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's true Pong. As true as it can be, considering you truly can't emulate Pong. It's like a challenge. How long of a video can I make of me sitting here playing Pong? How riveting is this? Let's see what else we have. Also, Breakout, another classic. Yeah, let's give Breakout a shot. Yeah, so you have a select button, since that's an Atari, and you're picking what version of Breakout you want to play. There it is. All right, start. Serve. Very cool. Some Super Breakout, Pong Video Olympics, Circus Atari. Let's try some Circus Atari. There he comes. This was always a difficult game, but it's been working fine. And I'm really very quickly getting used to these paddles. As I mentioned, they're not smooth paddles. It's got a little click to it, like you can feel the mechanical stops. It's not bad. It just takes a little getting used to, actually. And I mean, this might be the best I've ever done at Circus Atari, quite honestly. The control is actually very responsive. What else do we have? Let's go to page 2. Demons to Diamonds, Off the Wall. That's a more modern game. Canyon Bomber, Night Driver. So I actually tried Night Driver with that other machine. Let's try it with this one and see how it does. Because without a paddle, I mean, Night Driver is a nightmare. I think my serve button is speed. Yes, that's the gas button. Speed. Oh, this is way better than with the joystick, let me tell you. You can actually play the game. Ooh, until I wreck into that car. Better, great. Street Racer, Steeplechase, and Warlords. Always love me some Warlords. So this is a 4-player game. Of course, you're only ever going to play 2 players with this version because you just have the 2 paddles, but that's okay. Ugh, I'm not doing great. Ah! I find the paddle to be a little slow for reacting to this. Like I have to turn it like 3 or 4 times to make the transit, but way better than a joystick, that's for sure. Way better than a joystick. I would like to point out one little weirdness that I saw in Pong that I didn't notice in any of the other games, but I want to call attention to it. Pong actually is not the Atari 2600 game. There actually was never a game for Atari called Pong. That's not a thing. They just made an arcade classic that runs on this machine. But that's fine, neither here nor there. What I want you to notice is, I'll just start it, and I notice that sometimes the sound does not follow the action. And I don't know if I can replicate that here. Yeah, right away it's already behind. Watch when the ball hits the paddle. Look at how the lag and how long it takes for the sound. So far behind the... like it touches the paddle, and like a half second later, there's a ding. So I'm going to say that's kind of a nitpick because I don't have a real Pong machine, and it comes and goes. It kind of gets better. Yeah, it's a minor thing, but it's worth noting. It doesn't take away from my ability to enjoy Pong because it doesn't affect the play of the game, quite honestly. Yeah, okay. I've got to say, that's actually pretty cool. I wasn't sure what to expect when I ordered this many months ago. And here's what really gives this some extra oomph in my book, and that is in a million Me Too kind of products that are all a joystick and a button and they can play the same games. Somebody finally said, you know what? Let's give you a tabletop experience that's a Pong game that has paddles. And beyond that, the 2-player. I mean, look, if you're gonna give somebody Pong, let them play with a buddy. And that's going to elevate this from a nice collectible that goes in my shelf. I don't think I'll put this back in the box. I'm going to leave this out. So in my book, that kind of sets this a little notch above. I mean, the fact that it's novel, it's something I didn't already have 30 of, it's something new and something different, and they did it pretty well. Unlike so many other of my reviews, you won't hear me going, this is not an official arcade ROM, because you know what? There's no such thing as a Pong ROM. It was all solid state hardware. There's no ROM for it. You can't emulate it. So unless you're standing at a real arcade machine playing original Pong, you're playing a simulation, not an emulation. So this is a simulation too. And it's hard to get Pong wrong. It's 2 paddles, it's a middle, it's a dot going back and forth, and it's a score, and that's it. And they deliver on that in a way that's fun, in a nice kind of new design. Yeah, so there's nothing about this that I hate, actually. Now, it's certainly not perfect. It's still PAL versions of the game, so if the pitch bothers you because it's playing PAL instead of NTSC, just be aware of that. And I pointed out that small audio anomaly where it seems that the dings in Pong don't quite follow where the ball hits the paddle. That seems to fix itself, oddly, but it does not affect gameplay at all, I'll point out. It's strictly kind of an audio weirdness. And these paddles, which are neat. I mentioned, though, it takes a little getting used to. It's hard to convey on video, but they're not smooth paddles. There's a little click to them. Like a kind of a car stereo, maybe, or a high-end electronic. You can feel kind of the potentiometer click in it. But once you get used to that, there's plenty here for somebody who's a fan of old-style games. With all of that taken into consideration, then, I'm going to rank this Pong 12-in-1 tabletop arcade machine from Blaze 3 3/4 tokens out of 5. If you're a fan of vintage arcade stuff and you're looking for something new and different, this just might be for you. I'll throw a link down below the video you can click on and import your very own Pong tabletop game. I really hope you have found something to enjoy in this video, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. GenXGrownUp is dedicated to bringing you new Generation X inspired videos every week. Here are a couple more you can watch right now, but for even more, subscribe and enable those notifications. And if you love what we do, we invite you to support us over on Patreon. And of course, your feedback in the comments and a quick thumbs up are always appreciated.